Now recording in progress. DB related details are hard coded in the file. So if the program is taken on some other machine such that hmm, the destination machine has database with a different name and password is also different, then actually we have to open the file and definitely make changes in the code, and then we have to recompile the file. Not a very good solution. If I'm talking about solution, then the solution is we will talk about one special format of the file, and this special format of the file is actually referred as the properties file. So in the agenda of today, the very first thing that we are going to discuss is all about the properties file. This is the first thing that actually we will discuss today. First limitation is done. Then if I'm talking about second limitation, so just try to understand the things one by one. Right now, if I'm talking about my application, then can I say that my application is purely a console based application? Because all the input output operations takes place on the console. I do not have any web interface. I do not have any Android or iPhone mobile interface. Right now, my entire application is console oriented application. Now in this console oriented application, your execution is going to be started from public static void main. Initially, you are creating an object of the scanner class. After creating the object of the scanner class, we are writing the value of integer choice equal to 0. After writing the value of integer choice equal to 0, then a menu is there. And let's say after printing this menu, if user has provided choice 1. So definitely we will jump to the insert student operation. In the insert student operation. So please look at the insert student method. Into the insert student method, the very first thing that I am going to discuss you, particularly in this method, if I'm talking about the code from line number 44 to line number 53, if I'm talking about code from line number 44 to line number 53, can I say that this code is actually related to GUI part? Yes or no? Because we are taking input. Yes, it is. That's good. Second number thing, then if I'm talking about line number 55 to line number 71, line number 55 to line number 71. This code is something that actually you can say it is actually related to. This part is actually related to DB operations. Okay. And thereafter, if I'm talking about line number 72, 73, 74, then line number 72, 73, 74, 72, 73, 74. This is again containing the code that is related to GUI part. Then finally, if I'm talking about the line number 75, then definitely the line number 75 is containing the code that is related to DB operations again. Similarly, if I'm talking about the next operation, let's say that the next operation is called view. Oh, so I'm writing, look at, let's say that we are talking about the view student list method. Into the view student list method, again, if I'm talking about, let's say from line number 91 to particularly line number 103, then definitely this is database related operation. If I'm talking about from line number 91 to line number 103, then you can say that, sir, this is going to be a completely code that is related to database operations. Because this is related to database operations, and thereafter, if I'm talking about the remaining part, particularly from line number 1052 to line number 116, then can I say this code is related to GUI part? Particularly line number 1052, line number 114. This code is something you can say that this is related to GUI part. So can I say that into the current implementation, GUI related code plus database operation related code They are completely mixed up and they are tightly coupled. Make sense? Everybody agree with my point? Can I say that database operation plus GUI operation, they are actually written at a single place and they are tightly coupled. Now, how the situation is getting worse. So say that if I'm talking about right now, so right now right now our project is completely, our project is right now completely, you can say that console based. And in 2024, there is a demand available that we want web version also. Okay. Then coming to next year, 2025, in the 2025, actually, we want, let's say that the mobile version also. And this time, actually, I am talking about the mobile version that is related to Android. Application is gaining popularity. And once it is gaining popularity, so into the year 2026, we want mobile version for iOS also. So this time, if we follow the same approach, then don't you think that I have to write down the 3 different GUI code plus database related code into a single method? Yes or no? Everybody, is that clear? If we follow the current approach, then actually we have to write the DB operation plus let's say that it is console GUI plus let's say it is going to be web GUI plus we are calling that it's Android GUI plus we are calling it iOS GUI. Definitely, if you are writing everything into the same function, so don't you think that it will lead to lot of mix-up? Yes or no? Simple concept. It is going to lead to a lot of mix-up because right now, if I am asking you, let's say that you are a developer. So simple question I am asking, can you design a Android UI? Simple answer is no. Can you design a iOS UI? Again, simple answer is no. If I'm asking you, can you design a high level web UI? Again, your answer will be slightly no. Then I'm asking you, can you design a console UI? Your answer will be yes. Can you design database operation? Your answer will be yes. So now what happened? Just try to understand. For example, let's say that I have taken a scholar from an exam 301 batch. The scholar, those who are from an exam 301, they have some knowledge about the React, etc. I think you know all that. And definitely because they are having some knowledge regarding React, etc. So they are comfortable with web UI. Now the situation is that I want a web designer to work on my project. And if I'm calling the web designer to work on my project, so right now the web designer has to work within the same method, and chances are there that my web designer will disturb some code that is related to database operation. Yes or no? And definitely when the web designer is working in my code, then definitely others have to wait. Otherwise, definitely if you are making changes into the same method, then synchronization problem will be there. So overall, the thing is that right now in this structure, right now everything seems okay. But if I'm talking about an enterprise application where we are having a team with different skill sets and different people are working on the same project, there this approach is not suitable. Getting my point? So what is the solution? So what is the solution? This is the main point. So overall, I am writing is that let's say that we have an enterprise level application where multiple developers with different skill set are working. So we need to, we need to allow multiple developers to work on the same project simultaneously, which is not possible. with this code, which is not possible with this code. So if I'm talking about the solution, then definitely solution to this problem is actually referred as DAO pattern. What is DAO pattern that we are going to discuss? So if I'm talking about the second agenda of the day, then second agenda of the day is DAO pattern. These are the two things that I'm going to discuss with you. So what is the problem with the existing code? Is that clear to all? If the discussion so far is clear to you, please write one on the chat. Everybody, if the discussion is clear to you, please write one on the chat. Waiting for your responses. So overall the pointer, we were talking about the limitation, just a quick summarization. This is the last, otherwise you have to watch the recording. What is the limitation that we are having? Here actually we have seen that all the database related credentials, whether it is username, whether it is password, whether it is whatever XYZ detail is there, the detail is already included in the code. So let's say that if you wanted to change the database detail, or if you are porting the project from one machine to another machine, there to run this project, you have to open the code. After opening the code, you have to make changes. Then you have to recompile the code, and then you have to start your project. And definitely once a code is properly tested, then it is not advisable that you should make changes in the code. So the very first limitation is that we should not write down credential of the database, or we should not write down changeable information within the code directly. If we wanted to write down this thing outside the code, then the solution is there to use the properties file. This is the first point. Second number point, in this code, actually we have seen very clearly that sir, the GUI related code, as well as if I'm talking about the database related code, they are completely mixed up. Because all these things are completely mixed up, so definitely the problem is that if we wanted to extend this project, I wanted to add web UI, I wanted to add mobile UI, I wanted to add iOS UI. So if I wanted to provide multiple UI options, then definitely I have to write down all the UI code plus database related code into the same method. That will make method much larger, as well as might be possible that your UI designer is not comfortable with database operation, or your database writer is not comfortable with UI operation. So if they are working in the same file, then definitely chances of hodgepodge are too much. Ultimately, may be possible that you are end up with a blaming game where everybody is saying, I was correct, this person is wrong, I have done right, this person has deleted. So for the enterprise level things, this kind of practice is not recommended. Now, what is the solution? We need to rewrite the code with a different pattern, and this different pattern is referred as DAO pattern. This different pattern is actually referred as the DAO pattern. So now let me talk about the properties file. I think you all have gone through the file operation. Yes or no? J111 project. Might be many scholars have not done this. That's why I'm getting very lame response. Well, so I'm talking about the database. I'm talking about the file operation. Especially, I'm talking about one file, and this file is actually referred as properties file. First of all, if I'm talking about the properties file, so it is a special type of file that has extension. If I'm talking about the extension, then the extension is going to be dot properties, and it actually store information in the form of key and value. It stores the information in the form of key and value, like name is the key, Kapil is the value, designation is the key, designation is the key, and instructor is the value, organization is the key, and Masai school is the value. So getting how exactly the information is stored, very much like in the form of a map, very much like in the form of a map. Okay, this thing is available, and definitely property file is not part of Java program. So let's say today I have written some content in the property file, and the property file is being read by my Java program. Repeating again, I am having some content in the property file, and the property file is used by my Java program. Now, if I am changing some content in the property file, then definitely I do not have to compile the program. because property file is not a Java code. Whatever changes I am doing in the property file, they are immediately applicable without recompilation. Getting my point? So don't you think that writing the database credential in a property file is a better choice instead of writing them into the code? Yes, it is. Now the question arises, okay, sir, property file is created. The very first thing is that where to create the property file. So you need to create the properties file in the SRC folder. This is something that you have to remember, especially because normally so far in the file operation, whenever you are creating the file, then file was created within the root folder of the project. This is what for normal file is. But if I'm talking about the properties file, then the property file has to be created within the SRC folder for normal Java project. Getting my point? Where to place it? Yes, it is. But keep in mind that if you are having a Maven project, then you have to place the same in src slash main slash resource package, resource folder. Or practically you can say that resource folder is where actually you can place the same. Do not put your property file within any package. It must be directly within the SRC. What is Maven? That we are going to discuss tomorrow. What is Maven? This thing we will discuss tomorrow. So right now, relax. Do not talk about Maven so much. Stay relaxed. Everything will be done for you. Okay? Okay. So property file is there. Property file is created. But now the question arises how to read the property file. So if you wanted to read the property file, then to read the content from properties file, we have to use one class. The name of the class is called actually resource bundle class. And this resource bundle class is actually defined in java.util package. This class is defined in java.util package. And if I'm talking about the resource bundle, then definitely into the resource bundle, there is a method available. The name of the method is called static resource bundle. The name of the method is called get bundle. And into the get bundle method, you have to specify the file name. This is the point that you have to do. So can I say to get object of the resource bundle, new keyword is not required. Using the class name resource bundle, I can call the get bundle method, and the get bundle method is going to give me resource bundle object. So can I say that we are getting the object of the resource bundle from a factory method, not from the new keyword? Clear or not? Simple logic. And once the object of the resource bundle is available to you, then there is a method available. The name of the method is called getString method. Into the getString method, you just have to specify the key. Value will be automatically available to you. Shall I take one example? So now I'm going to take one example. From this example, things will be better clear to you. Things will be better clear to you. I'm not going to disturb this project. Don't worry, because this project is, I think, something vital for you. So let me create a new project, file, new Java project. So we are writing SB101 underscore block number 25 underscore JDBC underscore, and this is example number 3. This is what exactly I am doing. Initially, I will show you one example in which we will talk about the properties file. Then actually, I will extend the same example for the DAO pattern. So first of all, see, right now I am on the SRC. On the SRC, I am doing the right click, new. Can you see there is an option available, file? You need to click on file option. After clicking on file option, for example, let's say that I am writing name of the file. The name of the file is db detail.properties. Name of the file is db detail.properties. Properties. Perfect. So first, db details.properties file is created, and this is created directly within the src folder. Now let me write down the first value. The first key is URL. For the key URL, the value that I'm writing is JDBC : MySQL JDBC colon MySQL colon /localhost colon 3306 slash. After slash, we have to write down name of the database. And if I'm talking about name of the database, then let me do some copy paste. So this is the first value that I'm writing. Next key I'm writing is user, value is root. Next value I'm writing is pass, or you can write down password. Value is root again. So can you see that within the properties file, I have written all the database credential. Clear, everybody? Second thing, I'm writing key value pair. This is not a Java code, so please do not demand semicolon at the end. I'm not writing a .java file. I'm writing a properties file. Okay, so do not expect semicolon at the end of information. Second, third thing, this is my database name, not my project name. So if I wanted to work on the yesterday's database, then I don't think it is an offense. Clear? This is not your project name. This is your database name. Multiple scholars are writing, please change the name to EX3. This is not the case. So we are in the DB main dot. Okay, properties file is there. Now let me show you a very simple example where I will show you how to read the content from the properties file. So let me do one thing. For example, initially I am creating a class. Name of the class I am writing is, let's say, test.java. Into the file test.java, then there is main method available. After writing the main method, then I'm writing that get the object of resource bundle for the properties file. So for this thing, I need to write down that is resource bundle, and you can see that resource bundle class is part of java.util package. Then there is a method available. The name of the method is called getBundle. Thereafter, you need to write down name of the properties file, and you just need to write down name of the properties file, no extension. You just need to write down name of the properties file, no extension. Okay. Thereafter, read information one by one. So for example, let's say that I am calling the method getString method. The very first thing that I'm passing is URL. So let us print system.out.println. First thing that we are doing is printing the URL. After printing the URL, then we are printing the username. And after printing the username, then I'm talking about printing the password. Alt-Shift-X-J. Please check. Is it the same content that I have written in the properties file? So don't you think that dealing with the property file is comparatively easier? No need to handle exception, no need to specify reading mode, writing mode, etc., etc. Everything is ready-made for you because property file is used to contain changeable information and configurable information. So definitely as a developer, you are not going to write in the property file. 99% cases you are going to read from the property file. Getting my point? You can write down n number of comment, no problem. Use hash symbol. If you wanted to write down the comment, then you need to use the hash symbol. No problem. So first of all, everybody, now again come back. This is an example that I have given you. And apart from the example, text is available here. So let us do a quick summarization. First of all, properties file. A property file is a special type of file that is having extension .properties. It is used to store information in the form of key value. Like example is already given to you. You need to create the properties file within the src folder for normal project. Forget about Maven project. We will talk tomorrow. To read the content from the property file, we have to use java.util.resourceBundle class to get the object of java.util.resourceBundle. GetBundle method is available. It's a static method. So you need to use the factory method. And if you wanted to read the value, then definitely to read the value, you need to write down getString. Getting my point? Any ask for the property file, or is it clear? Less number of responses. Hurry up, please reply. If any ask, then write on the chat. If there is no ask, please write one on chat. Even if you are having 50-60% clarity, because rest is matter of practice. Rest is matter of practice. Okay. So definitely one more point let me add. The point is that the properties file actually contains the configurable information such that for change in this type of information, no recompilation is needed. This is the main advantage. So now let me do one thing. Is this format used in companies? Everything that we are teaching you since the day one in the Masai school, everything is used in the companies. Now, so let me do one thing. This time, for example, let's say that password I am changing to ABC123. Username, let's say I am keeping root. So this time, no recompilation, Alt Shift X J. Please take a look at the output. So can you see that output is automatically getting updated as the content of the property file is changed? Yes or no? That's good. So first part is done. First part is done. So shall I use the same property file for the database configuration? Yes or no? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, so first example is given to you. One example is given to you. So for example, this is my file. The name of the file is called db details dot properties file. Location is already specified to you that definitely it must be created within the src folder. Thereafter, I'm talking about the file. The name of the file that I'm writing is test.java. And after writing the file that is called test.java, so you can see into the test.java, we are writing the content directly from here. Control A, Control C, paste. And then if I'm talking about the output, then output is already available for you. I think this will be sufficient for you as an example. Yes or no? Then, so now I'm going to change this example from here. And first, I would love to discuss about the next pattern. And the next pattern is referred as the DAO pattern. So first example regarding the property file is already clear. Second, we are discussing about is the DAO pattern. So listen, what is the main source of problem? The main source of problem is complete mix-up. What is the complete mix-up? The complete mix-up between the database related code as well as UI related code. This is the main source of problem that we are fighting with. So ultimate target is that we should create separate layer for the database operation as well as for the UI layer. Then the problem will be solved. Yes or no? If we create different area for the developer and different area for the database code writer, then definitely it will be good. But the second thing is that, okay, sir, if we are talking about the input output operation, then definitely all the input output operation will be done at the UI layer. Make sense? Yes or no? So all the input output operation will be here. Similarly, if I'm talking about the DB layer, then definitely all database related operations will be here. But now the thing arises that, sir, if they are the two different layers, then how exactly communication among will takes place? The challenge is that how exactly communication between them will takes place. So I will say that if you wanted to perform communication among them, then definitely to perform communication among them, we have to talk about the DTO, such that DTO actually refer to data transfer object. And it is nothing but it is simple a Java file. It is a simple Java class, or it is simple a Java object that contains information to be passed between, you can say that DB layer plus DB layer and UI layer. Is that clear, everybody? DTO is very much like a postman. DTO is very much like a postman. So one layer is available that is called DB layer. One layer is available that is called UI layer. If there is any communication required, then for the communication you should use the DTO. And if I'm talking about this DB layer, then the DB layer is effectively or correctly known as the DAO layer, such that the name DAO actually stands for data access object. Getting my point? The term DAO actually stands for data access object. Okay, let me repeat again. One quick summarization. Again, what I was telling you, what is my whole target? My complete target is that I wanted to separate the database code. I wanted to separate the UI code. What is the advantage here? If I have created a database code separately, then no matter in future, I wanted to create 2 different UI layer, 3 different UI layer, 5 different UI layer. All the 5 different UI layer can communicate with a single database layer to get the information and to save the information in the database. Make sense? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So all the database related information you need to write down within a layer that is called DAO layer. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Second thing, UI layer. The UI layer will contain all the database. The UI layer will contain all the GUI related operations. So there can be multiple UI layer possible. For example, for the console application, there can be UI layer. For the Android application, there can be different UI layer. For the web application, there can be a different UI layer. For the iOS application, there can be a different UI layer. So can I say that UI layer is all about taking input from user and display message to the user? That's all. Yes or no? Yes, it is. You are collecting input. So definitely after collecting input, you wanted to provide the input to the DAO layer. So what you need to do for this thing, you need to use the DTO that actually refer to data transfer object. So DTO actually contains, it is a Java object that contains information to be passed between the DAO layer and UI layer. So into the simple language, can we say one thing, that this is used to or used for communication between them. Is that point okay? Broadly, this is the explanation that we are doing. So shall I write down code according to this? Okay. So listen, how exactly my application will be now divided? What is the mean of layer? The mean of layer is just a package only. The mean of the layer is just a package only. So one package that I'm going to create is, it will be com.masai school. One package is going to be DAO package. One more package that I wanted to create is going to be the DTO package. And one more package that I'm going to create is going to be the UI package. These are the minimum number of packages that I will create. Getting my point? So I'm going to start writing. And to start writing, first of all, okay, this test file I will delete in future shortly. Don't worry, because this file is just for the learning purpose. This is not part of your project. And the code is already saved into the notepad file, so it will be available to you. The very first thing, because I wanted to establish the database connection. So to establish the database connection, first of all, definitely the jar file must be available within the lib folder. First point clear, everybody? Within the lib folder, I am having jar file. Second number point, I wanted to attach this file. Right click, build path, configure build path. Then go to the class path, click on the add jar, select your project, select the lib folder, MySQL connector jar file. Click on apply and close. The file is visible within the list of reference libraries. Make sense, everybody? Two things clear? That's good. Right now, I do not need this project. I am deleting. So currently, can I say that there is a db-detail.property file is available within the src folder? Yes, it is. So now I'm going to create some packages. The very first package that I'm going to create, I'm writing here package. The name of the package I'm writing is com.masaischool.dao. Second package that I'm going to create, the name of the package is com.masaischool.dto. One more package that I'm going to create is, it's going to be com.masaischool.ui. 3 different layers are available there. And if I'm talking about the DAO layer, then definitely connection making, connection breaking. This part must be done within the DAO layer. Sensible? Yes or no? Because it is database operation. Yes, it is. So let me create one class here, and name of the class that I'm writing is dbutils.java. Name of the class that I'm writing is dbutils.java. As this class is getting loaded first, so definitely it will be good to load the drivers. Yes or no? Class.fontname com.mysql.cj dot so on, so on, so on. So within the try block, I am writing class.forName. Then I am writing here com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. This is the first number step that I have done. If I'm talking about the type of exception, then definitely type of exception is going to be class not found exception. And definitely if this driver is not available, then there is no need to run this application directly. It will be good to write down system.exit. Yes or no? So this time actually you can give a friendly message also. The friendly message is that minimum requirement mismatched or minimum requirement not matched will be a suitable operation. Then definitely we are going to perform the exit. Is that clear, everybody? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And if your driver class is loaded successfully, then can we write down the code to read content from the properties file? Code to read content from the properties file. Okay. So first of all, everybody, definitely I can do some stuff. The stuff that I can do is I'm creating one variable, final static string URL. This is the first step that I'm writing. If you wanted to write down the value, you can write down. Otherwise, there is one more option available that you can clear them bare static. One variable is created URL, second variable is created username, third variable that we are created is password. And here the point that I'm writing is, first of all, because I need to read the property file. So definitely to read the property file, the very first thing that we have to mention is we have to get the object of resource bundle for the properties class. Okay, this object is taken. From this object, definitely I need to read all the information. And if I wanted to read all the information, then we have to write down first, then second, then third. All three informations are there. First information I wanted to save into URL. Second information I wanted to save into the variable user. The third thing that I wanted to save into the root. So can I say that right now? Driver class is loaded and content from the property file is also read, and because it is assigned to the static variable, so I can access it later on also without creating any object. Two parts clear, everyone? So if there is any problem here, then definitely you will get an exception. The name of the exception will be missing resource exception, and it's an unchecked exception. And it's an unchecked exception. One scholar is asking why we are not writing final here. Done. Done. One scholar is also writing, sir, in line number. Where line number? Your numlog is off. Sudhanshu, your numlog is off. Line number is missing. In the line number 6. No root or no password. These are the variable names. These are the variable names. You can use any name, username, password. Okay, now better. Okay, so content is read here. And one more thing that you should keep into mind, if I'm creating this final, then after creating final, I have to provide value here also. Problem is that if a variable is final, then I have to initialize immediately. This is the main source of problem. That's why I cannot write down final here. Okay, so first part is done, everybody. The first part is done. Yes. Then I'm going to create a method. One of the method that I'm writing. So let me create a method. Name of the method that I'm writing is static connection get connection method. So if I'm talking about the connection method, then definitely here I have to write down that is driver manager dot get connection. The first parameter is the URL. The second parameter is going to be the user, and the third parameter is going to be the password. This is what exactly I need to write down. And because this code is going to throw the exception, so definitely the exception that it is going to throw will be SQL exception. Make sense, everybody? This is the code to create the connection. Similarly, we have written the code to create the connection. In the same way, we can write down the code to close connection also. If you are going to write down the code to close the connection, Then we are writing here connection, and within the we are writing here connection, then again connection here. Then the one thing that we are writing is if. First of all, definitely the return type is going to be void. If the value of connection is not equal to null, then definitely we can call the close method, and again it is throwing SQL exception. So this time, can you see that I have centralized, or I have created one special file or one utility class. The utility class is containing the static method to establish the connection as well as to close the connection. Yes or no? So code is going to be neat and clean. Make sense? The code is going to be neat and clean. So going for next part. Going for next part. Just a minute. So right now everything is going within the DAO package. Right now everything is going within the DAO package. One class is created there. Next point. Next point. Okay, sir. Utils class is created. Now let me start my some operations with the UI layer also. I'm actually doing development in slightly odd ad hoc manner, but for the better understanding, this kind of slightly odd ad hoc practice is required. So first thing, I'm on the UI layer, control N, creating one class. The name of the class that I'm writing is UI main class. Main method, scanner sc equal to new scanner, and thereafter I'm writing here system.in. After writing system.in here, definitely I need to close also. So scanner.close is what I am writing. Again, one variable I am writing integer choice. Initial value that I'm providing is 0. Thereafter again do. Thereafter again, I need to write down about the while loop. And within the while loop, definitely again I am writing the condition while the value of choice is not equal to 0 till the time we have to proceed. So instead of wasting time, don't you think that it is a good practice to copy paste the existing code? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So code is going to be started from the UI main class. Within the UI main class, scanner is available. The value of choice, one variable choice is available with the default value 0. In the do loop, 1 for add student, 2 for view student list, 3 is for update student detail, 4 is for delete, and 5 is for search student by roll number. And definitely exit option is also available. So right now, if a user is entering 1, then definitely there is a code to add student must be executed. But very first question, on which layer I am right now? UI layer. On the UI layer, I can perform only input output operation. Make sense? So how I'm going to organize my code? Just try to understand. For example, everyone, within this method, I'm writing a method. The name of the method I'm writing is static void. Let's say that add student, or let's say that I'm writing here insert student UI. And here I'm passing scanner object SC. So code to take input I can use. Then definitely pass the input to DAO layer, and then definitely call the insert operation of the DAO layer and get result. Then finally print the result. This commenting is clear how actually I am going to proceed. Yes, it is. So first of all, the method that I'm going to call is going to be insert student UI method is what I will call. Into the insert student UI, first of all, I wanted to take user input. And if I'm talking about my database, then the name of the database is going to be use this one, enter. Then I'm writing here the query. The query is show tables, semicolon. Thereafter, I'm writing here that is select star from student semicolon, and I'm writing DESC student semicolon also. So first thing, here you can see roll number, name, percentage, and admission date is what I need to take input. Make sense? These are the four things that I need to take input. The very first thing is roll number, name, percentage, and admission date. I'm coming to STS, properties file, I'm closing. Properties file, I'm closing. Again, being slightly lazy is no wrong, and I'm taking all the four information input here. Clear this point? Only input operation is here. Now, I need to pass different thing. One thing, everybody, that I wanted to actually say you, see, many of the time it happen that whenever I'm teaching DAO pattern, scholars are asking that, sir, why should not we write down code for validating the data, whether the user input is okay or not. So first thing, everybody, don't you think that if you are going to check the validity for every data, then instead of focusing on the database operation, you will completely focus on the validation part? Agree with me? And at the initial level, please focus on the DAO pattern. For the validation, go to SB201. In the SB201, there is a validation API available. Clear? Or any more ask? Your entire syllabus is designed by the team of experts, and we are taking care for every step. So what is good for you, we are already following. Your suggestions are welcomed, but entertained or not, you know it very well. So go to take the student. This part is done. Now listen, right now, I am available on the UI layer. And this entire information from UI layer, I wanted to pass to DAO layer. Yes or no? Right now, I am available on the UI layer. And from the UI layer, I wanted to pass this information to the DAO layer. And if I wanted to pass the same information to the DAO layer, then I need to use DTO. Yes or no? Remember this diagram? For this thing, we have to use DTO. Is that clear? Yes, it is. So if I wanted to use DTO, so for DTO is nothing special. Just DTO is a plain Java class that is kind of equivalent to your table in Java. So see how exactly I am going to create. Creating one class. Name of the class that I'm writing is student. Name of the class that I'm writing is student. In this class, first thing, let's say that I'm writing is private string roll number. Perfect. Thereafter, I am writing is private string name. After private string name, then I am writing here private double private double percentage. After private double percentage, then finally I have to talk about private local date. Then I'm writing here admission date. Alt Shift X. Then I wanted to generate constructor. So I am generating the parameterized constructor. In future, according to the requirement, may be possible that I may generate a constructor. I want an empty constructor also. Apart from that, then I'm talking about the getter and setter methods for all the fields. After the getter and setter method, if two string method you wanted to override, then you can, but not compulsory. That's okay. So simple question. Simple question. If I'm talking about the class student.java that is defined into the DTO package, can I say that, sir, this file or this class student.java, it is actually equivalent to student table in my Java application? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So now listen, DTO is done. I am on the UI main. Option number 1, I should pass 4 parameter to the DAO layer. Option number 2, I should create a student object. Within the student object, I should provide all the data, and then I should pass only one parameter. Which approach is better? Mostly answers are second. Some scholars are writing that both approaches are better. Now let me come to the next situation. For example, I am having a student table. In the student table, I am having 25 different details. Now which approach is better, passing 25 parameters or is passing a single parameter? That's good. That's good. Whenever you are giving any answer, then always keep into mind you are talking about enterprise application. Second, you are part of a team. You are not the alone developer. So definitely, now next thing I'm going to do is create an object of DTO class. So if I'm talking about the DTO class in my case, then definitely the DTO class in my case is going to be of the student. The first parameter that I need to pass is going to be the roll number. The second parameter that I need to pass is the name. The third parameter that I need to pass is going to be the percentage. And the fourth parameter that I need to pass is the admission. Is that clear, everybody? How to create the DTO? Yes, it is. So taking the input of the UI here, then creating the DTO object. And after creating the DTO object, finally, I have to call a method of the DAO layer. Finally, I have to call a method of the DAO layer. So on the DAO layer, there is no such method practically available. So how to do the job? See, Control N. First of all, I am going to create an interface. The name of the interface that I'm writing is employee DAO. The name of the interface that I'm writing is employee DAO. Here actually I'm talking about one method. The name of the method that I'm writing is public void add student. It is taking object of student as a parameter. Just one method initially I am talking to you. Control N, then I'm going to create a class. Name of the class that I'm writing is employee DAO IMPL. Then I wanted to add the interface. The name of the interface is employee DAO. Then clicking on finish. Clicking on finish. So can I say that add student is a method that is responsible for adding the student detail in the database? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So listen, again repeating. Your program actually started from the UI layer. On the UI layer, you have provided all the options to the user. Once all the options are available to the user, then you are calling the, let's say that user has provided the choice one. For the choice number one, insert student method is called. All the data is taken input on this layer. The data is stuffed actually into the UI layer. Finally, because I need to call the method here, so definitely first I need to create an object of employee DAO IMPL. Yes or no? I need to create an object of employee DAO IMPL. Okay, simple statement. Can a reference variable of interface point to object of child class? Can a reference variable of interface point to object of child class? I think answer is yes. Everyone. Okay. So what exactly the thing I am writing? I am writing here employee DAO EMP equal to. Oh, sorry. I am actually working on the student, but I have created class with name employee DAO. Mistake. Mistake, 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 mistake. It will be student DAO, and here it will be actually student DAO IMPL. Let me check. Add student is here and add student is here. Perfect. So I am writing here that is student DAO. An import statement? No, not required. So I'm writing here student DAO stDAO equal to new student DAO IMPL. Using the student DAO IMPL, I am calling the add student method and passing a student here. Make sense, everybody? How the linking is going on? We will take one more example of update operation also, don't worry. We will take one more example of update operation also. So you are into the insert student UI. First of all, the thing is that you are taking the user input. After taking the user input, DTO is created. Then you are creating an object of DAO. And after creating the object of DAO, then you are calling the add student method. Now my simple question to you, if I'm talking about this method that is add student, is it providing you any result? Or the return type is void? No, it is actually not providing me any result. Okay. So let me go to the implementation. I am available here. I wanted to perform the database operation. So definitely the first operation is, or the first job is to take database connection. Yes or no? The first thing is to take the database connection. So if I wanted to take the database connection, then can I directly call the get connection method? Yes or no? Done. Similarly, if I wanted to write down the code to close connection, then again I need to write down this thing. 2 steps clear. Next thing I have to create the query, and definitely to create the query, I am writing here a string query equal to, then we are writing here that is insert. But I think query is already created yesterday. So I'm slightly lazy. I can take advantage of the previous code. Connection is created. Connection is created. Once the connection is created, then query is also there. From the query, what we are taking? We are taking the prepared statement. After taking the prepared statement, then because I wanted to set the value, so can I call here get roll number method? Yes or no? Please check everybody. Please check this code if it is clear to you. Working okay? Comfortable? Step 1, making connection. Step number 2, query is created. Step number 3, prepared statement is there. Step number 4, data stuffing is there. If I'm talking about the step number 5, then can I say that step number 5 is all about just calling the execute update method? Yes or no? Can I say this is all about calling the execute update method? Now listen. If execute update method is returning you more than 1, then in this condition, can I say that operation is successful? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So shall I print the message within the DAO layer? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. Do not print the message within the DAO layer. This is not the purpose of DAO layer. DAO layer is 100% responsible only for database operation, not anything else. Getting my point? Yes, it is. See, overall the thing is that actually, this is what actually step number, you can say 5. And this is what actually step number 4. Step number 5, definitely you should call the execute update method. Everyone, practically the thing is that your query, definitely it will be successful. If there is any problem in the query, then ultimately you will end up with the SQL exception. Yes or no? If there is any failure, then definitely for that failure, you will always get the SQL exception. So can I say if there is no SQL exception, means function is working 100% okay? Yes or no? Logical it is? Yes, it is. Okay. So can I say that if this method is actually not returning anything, means operation is successful? Can I say this thing? We can. Now second case arises. Okay, we were talking about the 2 cases. First case I was talking to you when operation is successful. If the operation is successful, then nothing problem. The method is not going to return you anything. But case number 2, if the operation is failed, then in case of failure, SQL exception will be there. The SQL exception is available into the catch block. Now, can I print the error message within the catch block? Definitely no. Definitely no, because I am in which layer? I am in DAO layer. And within the DAO layer, no printing is allowed and no input is allowed. Getting my point? Okay. Second number point. So overall, the thing is that I cannot write the message here. Now, option number 1. I should throw SQL exception from DAO layer to UI layer. Yes or no? Because once the exception is available to the UI layer, so they are actually in the knowledge that yes, something was wrong. Something was wrong. Second number case. If I'm talking about the SQL exception, then don't you think that, sir, throwing the SQL exception is slightly a bad decision? Because the person who is working on the UI layer, he may not be comfortable with JDBC. So he will actually get confused that what this exception is. Instead of throwing SQL exception, don't you think that it is better to throw a user-defined exception whose documentation is comparatively better? Clear or not? Yes. So overall the point is everybody, you are not supposed to throw the SQL exception directly because SQL exception is something that is specific to database. You should not do this. So what is the solution available here? Can we create our own custom exceptions? Answer is yes. We can create our own exceptions. The answer is yes. So I'm talking about package. The name of the package that I'm writing is com.masai. Oops. Package. Name of the package I am writing is com.masai school dot. The name of the package I am writing is exception package. And within this exception package, I am going to create a class. Name of the class that I am writing is very much self-explanatory. It is something went wrong exception. It is something went wrong exception. And this class is going to be subclass of exception class. So one exception is created. And within this exception class constructor, we can provide the message also. And when we are writing the message here, then definitely we can write down this thing. Okay, sir, exception is created. So I am saying that instead you throw the SQL exception within the DAO layer. You should do one thing. If there is any exception available, then you should throw the object of SQL exception. And here actually you can write down the message that unable to add a student. Don't you think this is a better thing? Instead of throwing SQL exception, this is a better decision. Because if something is wrong at the database level, then definitely you have to handle it here. This is not responsibility of the UI developer to handle something miserable. And because it's a checked exception, so definitely whenever a method throws the checked exception, then we have to mention the same thing into the throws clause. So listen again. Listen again. Again, I am summarizing what this is. There are broadly two cases available. Case number one, when your insert operation is successful. Okay, sir, student object is available here. We are getting the connection. Query is created. Prepared statement is created. All data is filled. Execute update is perfectly okay. Means record is added to the database. Database connection is closed. The method is not returning any value. If the method is not returning any value, then can I say that operation is successful? Case number one clear for all. Case number one clear for all. Now let me come to the case number two. In case of the case number two, student object is there, connection is taken, query is created, prepared statement is there, data is the stuff. Let's say by mistake roll number is duplicate. Let's say by mistake roll number is duplicate. So definitely in this condition, the execute update method will throw an exception. And this exception will be type of what exception? It will be SQL exception. Now the problem is that if you throw the same SQL exception to the UI layer, so problem is that the problem is that the UI layer writer may not be comfortable with the JDBC API. So isn't it better that we should create a custom exception, and within the custom exception, we should provide a suitable message, and then we should throw the same to the UI layer. Getting second case? Yes, it is. So finally, again, see, we are on the UI layer. Onto the UI layer, you are calling the add student method. When you are calling the add student method, because the add student method throws the exception, so definitely calling of this method must be within the try catch block. The type of exception that it is going to throw is something went wrong exception. So can I say if I'm available at the line number 30 means everything is okay. And if everything is okay, then I can put the message student added successfully. Please apply your exception handling logic. In the line number 29, we are calling the add student method. If there is no exception, then definitely try block will complete its body. So if there is no exception means student is added. So can we put the message here? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And if there is any problem, then definitely student added successfully will be skipped. We will be into the catch block. And when we are into the catch block, then definitely we can print whatever be the message is. Is that clear? How this is going on? I hope it is. So once again, I'm summarizing from the starting. Please focus very, very carefully. Can I say that your program execution will be started from public static void main? Yes. Entire menu is available in front of you. Let's say that you are trying to put the option number 1, that is the add student. In case of the add student, definitely insert student UI method will be called. Into the insert student UI method, the very first job is to take input. Clear it is? Okay. The input is taken actually on the UI layer, and from the UI layer, I wanted to pass information to the DAO layer. So first of all, definitely I have to create a DTO object, and within the DTO object, I have to fill all the details. Yes or no? That's good. Thereafter, I am creating an object of corresponding DAO class, and after creating the object of corresponding DAO class, then I am calling the method of the DAO class. Okay, so method of the DAO class is called. Into the method of the DAO class, DTO object is available. First, we are creating a connection. Query is created. Prepared statement is there. Data is stuffed. After stuffing the data, we are calling the execute update method. And if there is no error message, if there is no error message, or if there is no problem, then can I say that this method will actually execute successfully? No exception will be thrown, but there will be no return value. Yes or no? And if there is no return value, then in this condition, definitely we will come back to the UI layer. Within the UI layer, the operation is executed successfully. Okay, complete the body of the try block. We will get the message that is student added successfully. Yes or no? First execution is done. Any doubt? Next part. Next part. Again, let's say you have press choice number 1. So if you are calling the add student, then after calling the add student, let's say that again, insert UI method is called. You are providing roll number, name, percentage, admission date. In the student DTO, everything is filled. Thereafter, student DAO is there. And from the student DAO, you are calling the add student. After calling the add student, get connection, insert query, prepared statement, data stuffing. Let's say that roll number is duplicate. Let's say if roll number is duplicate, then in this condition, your execute update method is going to throw an exception. And definitely, immediately you will jump to where? You will jump to SQL exception, means you will jump into the catch clause. Yes or no? If you are jumping to the catch clause, then immediately we are actually creating a custom exception object such that this custom exception object is containing the message is unable to add student. So this exception is actually thrown to the UI layer. Because exception is thrown, so definitely remaining body of the try block will be bypassed. And once the remaining body of the try block is bypassed, then definitely here actually you are going to get the message that is unable to add student. Getting my point? Any mix up here? You can clearly see that database operation is completely different and the UI operation is completely different. And now DTO is actually used as communicator. It is working as postman between the UI layer and the DAO layer. Clear it is? Now the advantage is that in future, if you wanted to add the web UI layer, then definitely DAO layer is ready for you. You can directly use the functionality of the DAO layer. No need to worry. Your HTML developer can also work. Your mobile developer can also work. Your database developer can also work. Your console developer can also work. And this is something we want. Yes or no? Clear it is? That's great. That's great. Now I wanted to do a minor improvement into the code. The minor improvement into the code is that if there is exception here, then connection will not be closed. So definitely I can do one thing. the thing that I can do is initially I am providing connection con equal to null here. Then definitely connection is created here. Once the connection is created here, then we are talking about the finally block, and within the finally block, then actually I am writing the code to close the connection, because whatever you are writing within the finally block, it will be executed always. Remember? Yes, it is. And actually the thing is that this method itself throws the exception. So let me write down here this one. Practically, I do not have to do anything because connection will be closed. Don't worry. So this is a better version. This is a better version. So first code we have already done. Now I am writing the functionality of the update operation also. Then I will write down the functionality of the delete operation also. And you will find that this is very easy. First of all, shall we try to execute the code so that we can verify if it is working or not? Yes, it is. I'm writing select star from what is the name of the table? Name of the table is student. Okay. Right click, run as Java application. It is asking for choices, pressing 1 to add a student. It is asking for roll number. Let's say that the value of roll number I am writing is R005. Let's say that the value of name I am writing is UHY. Let's say that the value of percentage is 56.26. Admission date is 2022-12-12, hitting enter. It is giving me a message. The message is that unable to add student means something went wrong in the query. So for the sake of debugging, I think it will be good to print the query. Yes or no? For the sake of debugging, it will be good to print the query. So coming to UI main layer again, Alt Shift X J. Thereafter, I am talking about enter selection. Value is 1. It is asking for roll number. The value for roll number I am writing is R005. Value for name I am writing is some random name. Percentage we are writing is 56.25. Then I am talking about the admission date 2022-12-12, hitting enter. It is directly showing me the message that is unable to add student, means actually there is something wrong in the password. I think yes. I think yes. Password is wrong. Connection is not created actually. That's why entire mix-up takes place. Thanks for the correction. Thanks for the correction. So, okay. Let me run it again. Alt Shift X J. Add student, value 1, roll number R005. Name I am writing is YJE. Percentage is 65.25. 2022-12-12, hitting enter. Student is added successfully. The query was provided only for the debugging. First case is executed successfully. Let me write down again case number 1. For the case number 1, it is asking for roll number, and let's say that I am entering the roll number R001 to check whether it is working okay or not. Name, for example, I have written something. Percentage, for example, 58.25. Then I am talking about the admission date. The admission date is 2022-01-12, and hitting enter. And hitting enter. R001. Let me check. Okay, roll number is not a unique key here. Actually, by mistake at the time of create table, we have not made roll number a unique key. That's why this actually takes place. Okay, we are having solution. So for example, let's say once I am writing that is delete from student, where it will be good to call that PERCENTAGE percentage equal to 58.25 semicolon. So then I wanted to actually make this column unique. So I'm writing alter table. What is the name of the table? Name of the table is student. Then I'm writing here modify clause. After writing here modify clause, what I wanted to modify? I wanted to modify roll number column. What is the data type? Data type is definitely varchar and size is 4. Then because I wanted to make it unique, so to make it unique, I am writing here unique here semicolon, hitting enter. Thereafter DESC student semicolon. So right now this is unique. Right now this is unique. And if it is unique right now, then definitely I can try again, no problem. Pressing 1, it is asking for roll number. Let's say that the value of roll number I am writing is R001. Name, let's say that I'm writing is some dummy value, percentage 52.25. Date I'm writing is this one and hitting enter. So this time we are getting the message unable to add student. Clear it is. So code is working 100% okay. Pressing 0. Thank you. Visit again. Coming here on the MySQL database, then we are writing select star. So when we are writing select star from a student, then you can see that R001, R003, R004, and R005 is here. Do you want a quick revision of the same thing to get the thing cemented into your mind? I will do the same job within 6 or 7 minutes because only one operation require time. So first of all, let's say that this time if I am talking about the update student, let's say that user has entered the choice number 3. For the choice number 3, can I call a method that is update student UI? And if I'm talking about the update student UI method, then again I have to take input and stuffing the data, creating DAO pattern. This will be as it is, yes or no? For the update method, this part will be as it is. Okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. So copying this part, after copying this part, then we are writing the part here. This is called update student UI scanner SC. Into the update student, we are taking roll number, name, percentage, admission date, DTO object is created, and then definitely DAO object is also created. Now I'm going to student DAO. Similarly, we have done the add student operation. So this time we will do the next operation. The name of the next operation is going to be the update student operation. And within the update student operation, so I am writing the code for the update student operation. Initially, connection making, then definitely creating the connection, creating the query, prepared statement, stuffing the data, handling the operation. Don't you think that everything will be same? Just minor changes are required. Yes, it is. Connection object is created. Connection is taken. This time I'm going to write down the query such that the name of the query is going to be the update query. And into the update query, I have to write down here that is update student. And into the update student, I have to write down set name equal to question mark, comma, percentage equal to question mark, comma. Then we are writing that is, this is admission date. Admission underscore date equal to question mark. Let me check the column name. It is admission underscore date, where roll number equal to question mark. Yes, perfect. So this time at the time of filling the data, name is the first parameter, percentage is the second parameter, definitely date is the third parameter. And if I'm talking about the roll number, then definitely roll number is going to be the fourth parameter. Yes or no? Yes, it is. Thereafter, actually printing the query is only for the debugging. You can skip this step, no problem. Finally, actually, we have to call the execute update method. If everything is successful, then nothing will be returned. If everything is successful, then nothing will be returned. And actually, something went wrong, exception. We will get the message. Otherwise, we will get the message that unable to edit or unable to update student details. So don't you think that same job I have done within few seconds? Almost same code? Yes, it is. So I'm coming to the UI main layer, onto the UI main layer this time. Okay, sir, a student is there. So copy this part. After copying this part, we are here. Then I am here putting and okay. Instead of calling this method, we are calling update student. And here actually we can say that a student updated successfully. Shall I try to run this code? Right click, run as Java application. Into the Java application, now I'm talking about choice number 3. Into the choice number 3, so let me talk about the student. The roll number is R005. The name of the roll number is R005. Existing name is some UJI. I wanted to change the name to some IKL. Random data it is. Earlier percentage is 65.25. This time percentage is 55.55. Earlier admission date is something. This time I am writing admission date, this something. Then I am hitting enter. After hitting enter, it shows student updated successfully. Let me come here. Is that student updated actually? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So operation successful. Yes, it is. Thereafter, if you wanted to exit, then definitely you can exit the same thing also. Similarly, can you write down the delete operation also? Such that for the delete, you do not have to take all that data. You just need to take only one data input that is called roll number. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So let me complete this code. Thereafter, we will go for the break. So this time I am writing the next thing. The next thing is called delete student UI operation. So I'm going to create one more method. The name of the method that we are writing is that thing. Into this thing, code to take input. So definitely to take input, I need to take input only one thing, that is called roll number. See, because I need to pass only roll number, so definitely I think there is no logic of using DTO this time. If there is single information available or if there is two information available, then you can pass the information directly, because creating DTO will be kind of nonsense because most of the fields will be null. Is that clear? Everyone agree with my opinion that to pass only a single information, creating a DTO is not a good choice. You can pass this information directly because this is already an object. This is already an object. So second thing is that I wanted to pass this information to the DTO layer. So copy here. After copy here, student DTO. So now coming to file student here, copy, paste. Then we are writing here delete student. Into the delete student, can you say that it will be good to have the roll number? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So delete student, something went wrong, exception is there. Coming here again, can I say that some of the parts I have to copy paste as it is? Connection creation is successful. After creating the connection here, actually I need to frame the query that I need to write down delete from student. Then we have to mention that where roll number equal to question mark. Then prepared statement is there. Into the ps.set string, definitely I have to pass only the first parameter, and this time the only parameter is going to be roll number. Remaining line I have to delete. Please check the code. Please check the code. What went wrong? This method required body instead of semicolon. Okay. Thereafter, definitely because this is the delete operation. So for the delete operation, again I need to call execute update. Yes or no? Again, I need to call execute update. If there is no exception, then definitely go to the finally block, close the connection, everything is okay, balle balle, and directly print the message here into the UI main class like you were printing earlier. Copy. After copy, then we are writing paste. Thereafter, we are writing here that is called the delete student. Into the delete student, the only thing that I need to pass is the roll number. Here we have to pass student deleted successfully. System.out.println ex.get messages also there. So operation is completed. Shall I try to run this code? Right click, run as Java application, pressing the choice number 4. Yes, pressing the choice number 4. It is asking for roll number. Roll number I am writing R005. Then I am hitting enter, getting the message student deleted successfully. Select star. Can you see that student is actually getting deleted? Yes or no? So with the 3 examples, I think now DAO pattern is slightly cemented into your mind. Yes or no? Loose coupling, DAO pattern, how this pattern is advantageous. This thing should be clear to you. That's good, everyone. Now, do you need a break? Yes. Everybody is feeling so much heated that please leave us. So for you today, enjoy. Okay. What happened, class? No reaction. Do you need only 5-minute break instead of 10-minute break? 10 minutes. Okay. So this file is already open for you. And particularly, I think you will be more interested in seeing this code. Yes. I think you will be more interested to see this code because this is something that is important for you. Yes, everyone. Shall I start for the next operations? Good. So in the UI main, add operation is done, update operation is done, delete operation is done, exit operation is automatically done. Now actually 2 operations are pending. One operation that is called view student list, and second operation is available that is called update student detail. So if I'm talking about the view student list operation, search operation, yes. So let me create one method here. Name of the method I'm writing is view static void view student list UI. I'm writing here static void view student list UI operation. First of all, everybody, there is no need of scanner object in this. Make sense? Because we have to see the list of all the scholars. So definitely there is no demand of the scanner object. Because I do not want it to pass any information. So there is no demand of DTO also. Third thing, directly what I need to do, I need to directly create an implementation of, create an object of student DAO, and using the object of student DAO, I should call a method that provide me all the records. So for this thing, let me come to the student DAO. Into the student DAO. See, listen. Actually, once I am starting from student DAO IMPL this time. Initially, please forget some compile time errors. The main thing is that everyone's listen. I'm writing a method. The name of the method is, for example, let's say it is get student. List is what method I am writing. Into the get student list method, the very first thing, definitely I have to create connection. Okay, sir, connection is created. After connection, I need query. After query, definitely prepared statement is there. Okay, prepared statement is there. This part is done. First of all, if I'm talking about the query this time, then definitely the query this time is going to be, we have to write down select. The information that I wanted to fetch is roll number. After roll number, I want the next thing that is called name. After name, the third thing that I wanted to get there is percentage. After percentage, then I need actually the next thing that is called admission underscore date from. What is the name of the table? The name of the table is student. So string update query equal to select roll number, name, percentage, admission date from student. Prepared statement is also there, no problem. After prepared statement, I do not have anything to stuff. So shall I directly call the execute query method? Yes or no? This time we need to call the execute query method. So if I'm talking about calling the execute query method, then I have to write down ps dot execute query. And if I'm talking about the return type of ps dot execute query, then definitely a return type of this method is going to be a result set. Let me import the result set. Case number one, let's say that there is no record in the table student. If there is no record in the table student, then definitely result set will be empty. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And I think we have already written the code to check whether the result set is empty or not. Remember, static boolean is result set empty. Then with the negation operator, we were checking yes. So from the DB main directly, I'm taking the same code as it is, and I'm writing the exactly same code here. This time, can you see this method is not public? Why? Because this method is not required to be public. This is a helper method. If the result set is empty, so first thing that I wanted to check is, the very first thing that I wanted to check is, if the result set is empty. In this condition, see, if you are having a result set empty, so practically there is nothing to return. If practically there is nothing to return, so can we throw an exception that is containing a message that is no student found exception? Will it be a good practice? Getting how to solve this problem? Because according to database, this is a normal thing that there is no result. But according to us, definitely we wanted to convey this information from DAO layer to UI layer. And because I wanted to convey the same information from DAO layer to DTO layer, so I need to throw exception. And why I need to throw exception, just try to understand. If I write down return type string, then what do you think? String is a valid return type in all the cases when there is record available and when there is record not available. First question, because I receive a suggestion on the chat, somebody is writing that, sir, you should return the string value. So the first point is that two cases are there. Two cases are there. Record is there, record is not there. If record is not there, then you are saying return the string value. But what if records are there? If records are there, then shall I return the string value? Will it be a valid point? Definitely no. Definitely no. Second number point. Second number point. The second thing is available that you can actually return null. Possible. Possible. But actually, if there is no scholar available, if there is no scholar available, you wanted to convey this message, there are two options. First option, you can return null. Seems okay. Second option, if you directly throw this message in the form of exception, then ultimately it will be printed by the catch block within the UI layer. So second option is, I think, better, because ultimately your message will be printed, that is no student found. It will be printed within the catch block of the UI layer. Otherwise, you have to check the return value is null. If it is null, then you have to print message A. If it is not null, then you have to print data something message B. So it is depending on the tag complexity how you wanted to handle. Is that okay? Not return string value, first point. Second, throwing an exception is slightly a better choice than returning null. Otherwise, at the UI layer, you have to check. Is that okay? Slightly depends on situation also. Slightly there is one more thing available that I wanted to convey you. Have you gone through the queue interface? Have you gone through the queue interface in collection framework? Yes. Into the queue interface, have you gone through the method? There is one method available, add method, and there is one more method available that is called some offer method. Have you gone through them? Yes, it is. So listen, actually it depends on your own way of thinking. So let me write down that is queue interface in Java. Into the queue interface in Java, you can see that there is add method available and there is offer method available. If I'm talking about the offer method, it insert the specified element into the queue. If it is possible, do it so immediately without violating capacity restrictions. Actually, here in this case, can you see this method is exactly not throwing any exception? If I'm talking about the offer method, then offer method is not throwing any exception. On the other hand, everybody, if I'm talking about the exception, that is add method, can you see that add method is throwing actually some checked exception? And if you go through the description is that it return true upon success and throw an illegal state exception when no space is currently available. So can you see that this strategy is something that I am implementing? If everything is okay, then return content. If there is not okay, then throw exception. It is giving you a clear message. So I'm not saying that returning null is not a good decision. It is depending on the situation, but this approach I find more familiar. Okay. So this time, if the result set is empty, in this condition, definitely you can throw the exception. You can use the something went wrong exception class also, or you can create one more class. Let's say that the name of the class that I'm writing is no record found exception class. The no record found exception class is going to be the subclass of exception class, and thereafter clicking on finish. In this class also, I'm defining a public constructor. In the public constructor also, I'm writing here the message. After writing the message here, then I'm writing here super keyword, and within the super keyword, then I'm writing here message. Is that okay? One separate class I have created that shows that there is no record available. Going to the student DAO, IMPL. So here I am writing pro new no record found exception. Into the new record found exception, I am giving the message no student found. First case. So definitely here I have to add the same thing within the throws also. Then I'm writing about the else part. I'm writing about the else part. So when I'm talking about the else part, then can I say that you are here means some records are in database? Yes or no? Or can we say that the result set is not empty? Make sense, everybody? Public no record found exception. What went wrong? If there is, import is problem or something else is the problem. Well, okay. So listen. So far, still I am unclear about the return type. Still I am unclear about the return type. Connection created. Thereafter, select query is there, prepare statement is there, execute is there. If the result set is empty, then definitely in this condition, we are going to throw exception. Let me talk about the third situation. The third situation is when exactly there is some problem in your query or due to any XYZ reason, there is some exception. Due to this, any XYZ reason, if there is any exception, then don't you think that it is better to give a message that unable to fetch student list now? Is it better choice? Case number 3 is also covered. So definitely same exception I have to add here also. Okay. So case number 1, when there is no record available, it is covered. Case number 3, when there is any technical error, this is also covered. Now let me talk about the case number 2. If there is any record available in this condition, will it be a good decision to return the result set? Will it be a good decision to return the result set? Because ultimately my result set is containing something there. Yes or no? Absolute silence, hardly one or two suggestions. So listen, returning a result set is a ultra bad decision. Returning a result set is actually a ultra bad decision. Why it is going to be a ultra bad decision? Just try to understand one by one. First of all, I have connection. Using the connection, I am having prepared statement, and using the prepared statement, I am having result set. Agree, everybody? That result set is connected to prepared statement, and prepared statement is connected to connection object. Is that agree? Comfortable? Now listen. When actually we are returning from the DAO layer to the UI layer, so before returning, we have to close the connection also for the security purpose. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And once the connection is closed, then don't you think that underlying prepared statement is automatically closed and underlying result set is automatically closed? Yes or no? So definitely we cannot return a result set. Agree? Because your result set will not be iterable into the UI layer because your connection is already closed. This is point number 1. Comfortable? Second number point. Whenever you are returning the result from DAO layer to the UI layer, then don't you think that your information should be in the form of plain Java object, not in the form of any specific database object? Yes or no? Yes, it is. So it is better to return a list of DTOs. Isn't it better to return a list of DTOs? Yes. So this time, if I'm talking about the return type, then the return type is going to be a list of student. Getting my point? Agree? Yes. So I have added here. Here I'm writing at the rate override annotation. Thereafter, let me create a list also. So I'm writing here list student list equal to new, and thereafter I'm creating a array list. Okay. And definitely, ultimately, I need to return the same array list from here. Or actually, you can do one thing. You can write down the return statement here also. You can write down the return statement here also. After writing the return statement, connection is there, student list is there, connection is there, update query is there, prepared statement is there, update is there. You are here means some record is available into the database. So listen, you will say, sir, nothing is special, just the same logic that we have done yesterday. We need to write down the same logic here. I'm writing rs.next. So when I'm writing rs.next, then can I say initially I am on the record number 1? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And when I am on the record number 1, then definitely using the rs.getString for the index number 1, I am going to get the roll number. Similarly, rs.getString for the index number 2, I am going to get the name. Similarly, rs.getDouble for the index number 3, I am going to get percentage. rs.getDate index number 4, can I say that this is going to return me a date? And definitely, if I wanted to convert the date to the local date, then I need to call this. All these 4 information I can pass as a parameter to the constructor of student. Getting my point? And the same student object, ultimately, I can add to the student list also. Clear it is? Please check. So your entire list is getting populated. Once your entire list is getting populated, then you are returning the list and you are done. Make sense? How to return, first of all, how to convert the result set into the list and then returning. And this time the good thing is that onto the UI layer, there is a plain collection object will be available. Even if you are closing the connection, no problem. And definitely your UI layer, if he is having basic knowledge of core Java, still he can work with your code. And this was the ultimate purpose that we wanted to sort out. This was the ultimate purpose that actually we wanted to sort out. So this is actually referred as Pojo or plain old Java object. This part is also done. Finally, I am coming to the UI main. After coming to the UI main, then I am opening the try block. Within the try block, using the stdow, then I am talking about the method. The name of the method is called getStudentList method. Into the getStudentList method, then I am getting the list of student, and here I am calling the student list here. After calling the student list here, if I'm talking about the type of exception, then definitely 2 type of exceptions are possible. The first type of exception is called no record found exception, and the second type of exception is called something went wrong exception. And definitely whatever be the suitable error messages, it will be printed automatically. So case number 1, case number 3, they are handled. Case number 1, when there is no record in the table. Case number 3, when there is any failure due to query. So both cases are covered. Finally, everybody, definitely, if you are here, means at least one record is available. Or you can say if you are here means one or more record is available. If one or more record is available, then definitely I wanted to print the student list. And if I wanted to print the student list, then definitely I can execute the for loop, which actually I never love to do. So the best thing that I need to do is, did you remember something horrible? Stream API. Asking for consumer. So if you wanted to, so overall everybody, I'm writing here st, then I'm writing about st dot. The first thing that I wanted to get is roll number. After that, if you wanted to print the name, then definitely you can print the name also. After the name, then the next thing that I wanted to print is percentage. And after the percentage, then again the next thing that you wanted to print is going to be st dot get admission date. This is something that actually you need to do, and this entire thing you need to pass in system dot out dot println. So everything is done just into a single line. Shall I try to execute? So right click, run as Java application, asking for the choice number 2, hitting enter, roll number R001, name is CDE, percentage 75.25, and date of admission is 9th of May 2021. So let me check how many records are there. 3 records, and the same 3 records are available there also. Is that clear? Yes, it is. That's great. That's great. Now going to the next part. Now going to the next part. So similarly, everybody, can we go for search student by roll number? Yes, it is. So if I wanted to do the same job for the search student by roll number, so going here, search student by roll number is there. And okay, again, I'm talking about UI. So coming here, static void search student by roll number, scanner SC. Again, I need to take input roll number only. Yes, roll number is taken input, and definitely because roll number is the only information, then better to pass the same information to the DAO layer again. Yes or no? Yes, it is. After passing the same information to the DAO layer again, then definitely I have to create some method here. So let me create a method here. This time I'm creating one method, public. Name of the method, this time return type. I think it's good to say that the return type is going to be a student. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And I'm creating the method that is get student by roll number. And when I'm creating the method that is get student by roll number, so definitely again possibility might be possible that the roll number is wrong. If the roll number is wrong, then definitely we will throw the exception that is called no record found exception. Yes, it is. Clear? Copy, paste, and because you know it very well, I am not slightly, but actually very lazy person. So let me copy paste the code from here, copy here, paste it here, getting the connection. And this time I actually need only one object of student here. Initially, I can write down the value null also, no problem. Connection is created. What I wanted to fetch, select roll number, comma name, comma percentage, comma admission date from student. Then we need to write down where roll number equal to question mark. Update, this time it is not update query. This is again going to be your select query. Prepared statement is there. Into the prepared statement, then again I need to stuff the data. So to stuff the data, this is going to be the step number 4. So I'm writing ps dot set string. On the parameter number 1, I am writing the value such that the value is going to be roll number. Thereafter, we have to execute the query. If the result set is empty, then definitely we have to show that no student is found. If this is not the case, you are here means student found. And definitely if the student is found and there is only one student, so there is no need of the while loop. There is no need of the while loop. Simple, I have to write down something like this. It will be st. Thereafter SQL exception, unable to fetch a student list. Finally try block, and instead of returning student, I have to return st. Entire code is done within some seconds. Please go through the code once. Have we done? If you are comfortable with this code, please write one on chat. Okay. Okay. So let us try to test this code also. Let us test this code also. So writing the try block, within the try block, I'm writing here student st equal to, then definitely we are writing get student by roll number, passing the roll number here. If you wanted to use lambda expression, you can use. If you wanted to use simple system.out.println, then definitely you can use the same also. It's your choice that how do you want it to proceed. If I'm talking about the type of exception, then definitely first exception is going to be no record found exception. And the second exception is going to be something went wrong exception. Entire code is done for you and the application is also created completely. Alt Shift X J. Enter selection. Choice number 5. Please enter the roll number. Let's say R001. After entering R001, entire detail is available. Roll number equal to R001, name equal to CDE, percentage equal to 75.25, admission date equal to 2021-05-09. Let me try the next case also. Again 5 number, and this time I am talking about the roll number R002. And in case of roll number R002, can you see that there is a method available that is no student found? Actually only one minor correction. Here I have to call the get message method instead of printing the same. Rest everything is working 100% okay. So everybody, DAO pattern is completed. DAO pattern is completed. So in the agenda of today, mainly we were having the two things. The very first thing that we were having is property file. This is done. One more thing that we are having is DAO pattern. This is also done. And I think one more thing that you come across, that's apart from using the DAO, we have to use one more thing. And this thing is actually called exception, that is used to communicate information among both. Yes or no? Exception is also there, that is used to communicate actually in the form of error message, or they are used to report failure. We can say that they are used to report the failure. So 4 layers we have created. But everybody, this is not the complete DAO pattern. Actually, there is one more layer available. That one more layer is actually referred as the service layer. But what is the utility of service layer and why I didn't talk about the service layer so far? Just listen very, very carefully. First number point. Here actually in this application, what we are doing, we are just collecting the data from the user and we are throwing the data to the DAO layer such that the DAO layer is performing insert operation, update operation, or delete operation. Similarly, when it comes to reading the data, so we are sending the request to the DAO layer. The DAO layer is fetching the data from the database, putting them into the list or putting them into a single object. Then that object is returned to the UI layer. At the UI layer, we are printing the data and it's done. This is the only thing that we are doing. Yes or no? Yes, it is. But if I'm talking about the real-time application, then definitely in the real-time application, this is not only the case. Because for example, let me give you a very, very simple example. The simple example is that let's say that I am having a website that is an e-commerce website. And into the e-commerce website, I am using the DAO pattern. I am using the DAO pattern. So when I'm using the DAO pattern into the e-commerce website, so definitely DAO layer is available. And the DAO layer is actually responsible for all database operations. This is the point number 1. Similarly, everybody, if I'm talking about the next layer that is called the DTO layer, then we know it very well that the DTO layer is responsible for communication. It is responsible for communication. If I'm talking about the exception layer, then definitely it is responsible for actually communication of failure messages. Then there is UI layer available, and definitely the UI layer contains all the UI operations. But just giving you one situation. For example, let's say that all the prices that are available in the database, they are in dollar. If I'm talking about all prices in the database, then actually all the prices in the database are available in dollars. And let's say that I'm in India. I wanted to view price of product in rupees. I wanted to view price of product in Indian rupees. So first of all, I think we know it very well that dollar INR, the rates are keep changing on daily basis. Yes, it is. So let's say that we are getting the dollar to INR from some third party via JSON object. Let's say we are getting the same thing via some JSON object. It is JavaScript object. So can I say that's actually fetching information from the DAO layer is one thing, but displaying information into the UI layer is a different thing. And between these two operations, I have to write down the code to convert the price from US dollar to INR. Yes or no? Yes, it is. And the thing is that actually maybe possible same UI logic is used in India also. The same UI layer is used in USA also, in the Australia also. So overall, the thing is that this time some business logic or this time some processing is involved. So whatever be the business logic like code is there, you have to write down the same layer within the middle layer that is called service layer. So the code that is related to business layer has to be written in the service layer. So right now, actually, I am having nothing related to the service layer, but in future, when you are going to develop applications, then definitely you have to develop service layer also. And especially this practice you have to follow in SB 201. So in the complete architecture, there can be more layers also. Apart from the service layer, we can have the utility layer also. Overall target is just fixed. We need to categorize work of every developer into the separate layer, and we have to create proper interfaces so that one person can use the code of other. Getting my point? What is the use of service layer? Is that clear? And what will happen? Your UI layer will communicate to the service layer. Service layer will communicate to the DAO layer. DAO layer will provide the information to the service layer. Service layer will do the processing, and the process result will be provided to the UI layer. So maybe possible that UI layer will get some only integer value. It may get some list of some different data type. Anything can be possible. So we are not saying that always you are going to get information in the form of DTO. Some other information can also be available. Is that okay? So this is what actually use of service layer is. So this part is done. DAO layer is completed. Assignments you have to do. Anybody who can claim that I can write down the entire logic without doing practice at least for 2 to 3 times? I have done this thing at least for 100 times. I have done the same thing for at least 100 times. I don't think that anybody can claim. Not possible. Not possible. Okay. So this project is definitely for you, and this project will be provided to you. Well, have you checked the content that I have uploaded yesterday? Yes, it is. And there is one more thing available regarding the export import of MySQL database. Have you checked this? Very few scholars. Very few scholars. So listen, everybody. Yesterday in your day 10 lecture, it was whatever day 9 lecture. Into the day 9 lecture, there is fourth file available. The name of the file is import and export of SQL. In the import and export of SQL, I have given a self-read tutorial where you have to actually learn how to import and export a database. Well, everybody know that how to set path of Java underscore home. I think everybody knows this. J111 very first class pre-class video. How to set Java underscore home. Once Java underscore home is set, then you have to set the value of variable path also, such that value of variable path is %Java underscore home %/bin. Remember? I think this is also you have done. Whether everything is done with no. If you have not done this thing, then please make sure to do this. Otherwise, in SB 101, in the MVC API, you will get stuck. You will get stuck. Once I am actually repeating for you, if you have not done this thing, this is not good. For Mac user, this is not applicable. No problem. For Mac user, this is not applicable. See everybody. We are in the C drive. Into the program files, there is Java folder, JDK19 folder. Within the JDK19 folder, this is what actually your Java installation directory is. This is what your Java installation directory is. Two variable you have to set for the Java programming. Then see, I am doing right click on this PC, going to the properties, and after going to the properties, there is advanced system settings. Within the advanced system setting environment variable, and within the environment variable, here, can you see there is a variable available Java underscore home? Windows users, can you see there is a variable available Java underscore home? The value of the variable is Java underscore home, and definitely the value is you have to paste here. So first you have to click on new. After clicking on new, you have to write down Java underscore home. Then you need to paste the value. Then click on OK, 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 OK. This is one thing that you must do. Otherwise, in SB201, when it comes to web MVC, you might get stuck there. Okay. If it is already done, then well and good. Second variable is available, the path variable. Within the path variable, if this value is not added for you, then please add this value also. Then please add this value also. Done. Then going to the next part. This is what actually with reference to Java programming, but the same thing you have to do for the MySQL also. Same thing you have to do for the MySQL also. So this is C drive available. Within the C drive, there is MySQL available. Within the MySQL, MySQL server is available. And within the MySQL server, bin folder is available. What you have to do? You have to copy this entire path, do the right click on this PC, go to the properties, then go to advanced system settings. In the advanced system setting environment variable, then into the path, you have to add this value also. Can you check? In yours also. If you wanted to export or import the database, then you have to set this path. If you wanted to import, export your database, then you have to set this path. So everyone, the very first thing you have to set this path. If you have done this path setting, okay, close this one. And now, what exactly I wanted to do? For example, everybody, let's say that I wanted to provide you this project. And if I wanted to provide you this project, then definitely this database is also required. Yes or no? Yes, it is. So there should be some way to export this database, because right now in the database, I am having only one table, but in the practical might be possible in a single database, you may have some 800 tables and you might have some 4 lakh records. So definitely you cannot write down every query manually there. So I am telling you how to import and export the database. What is the name of the database? The name of the database is SB101 block 25EX2. The very first thing you need to is you need to open CMD, that is called command prompt. Open the command prompt. You are available at c:/user/masai. You can go to any location. Let's say right now I am available on desktop. Thereafter, to export the database, I am writing the query mysql dump -u. After -u, I need to write down my username. Username is root -p. -p is for the password that I will provide later. I cannot type password here. Space. Then I need to write down name of the database that I wanted to export. Then greater than symbol. After greater than symbol, I need to write down name of SQL file. Let's say that the name of the SQL file I am writing is db.sql. Then I am hitting enter. It is asking for password. I am writing the password and hitting enter. Take a look at the desktop. Can you see there is a file available db? And this file is created at 19 April 2023, 49 past 13. So definitely this file is created recently. You can check the time also. Yes or no? Right click. You can read this file using Notepad also. Can you see there is query available to create the table student? There is query available to insert all the records that I have created for you. So don't you think that this SQL file is something very important for you? Yes or no? So I'm copying this SQL file, or I'm cutting this SQL file. After cutting this SQL file into the C drive, I'm directly going to the project. It is into the documents workspace, example 3. So I'm pasting the file here. I'm pasting the file here. Now what I'm going to do, doing the right click, adding this project to the zip file, and then I will upload this file on the Google Drive. What you need to do is you need to extract this file. Once you will extract this file, then database file is available there. Now your job is to import the database file. Getting my point? Now your job is to import the database file. So how to import the database file? Again, refer to the documentation. First of all, everybody, please check the command. Is that the same command that I taught you? Look at the highlighted one. Is that the same command that I told you? Yes, it is. Similarly, in the above steps, they are the same steps that are regarding setting the path. They are the same steps that are regarding setting the path. Thereafter, everybody, if you wanted to import the database, then to import the database, you have to write down mysql-u root -p space -h localhost, because we are on the local system. Database is something you have to create in advance, because whatever tables in the database, they are exported. Entire database is not exported. Getting my point? Exporting the database means exporting the table. It doesn't mean that you do not have to create a database. You have to create a database. Getting everybody? Yes, it is. So for example, let's say I'm showing you how to create a database. So for example, everybody, let's say that I'm creating a database. I'm writing here create database imp db semicolon. I'm using the database that is imp underscore db semicolon. Now I wanted to import. So first thing, everyone, right now I'm available on desktop. So definitely if I'm talking about my SQL file, then definitely my SQL file must also be on the desktop, because by default, every file is searched into the current directory. Now I am available on the console. I'm directly copying the same command. This time, if I'm talking about name of DB is going to be imp underscore DB. The file name is going to be db.sql. So see in front of you. Copy this query, right click. Name of the DB is imp underscore DB. This time less than operator. The name of the file is db.sql. Hitting enter. It is asking for password. Hitting enter. No messages there. I'm coming here, and after coming here, I am writing here show tables. Can you see table student is available here? Yes or no? And can you see this is having the same data? So how to import export, this is clear. And why this is important, I think this is also clear. Because when you will work in your project, then definitely you have to submit SQL file also. Clear everybody? In the evaluation also. In the evaluation, you have to submit SQL file. With the project, you have to submit SQL file. With the assignment, you have to submit SQL file. Getting my point? So right now, actually, there is no need of this database. So I'm writing drop database impdb semicolon. And let me come to my old database. The name of the old database is this one. So this part is also done. Import export command is also done. So this example or this zip file will be provided to you. Apart from this, the text file, it will also be provided to you. It is my data and content. So Masai SB101, block number 25. This is going to be day number 10. It is day 10 in class content. It is. This part is also done. So everyone, anything that you wanted to ask? No ask everyone. DAO pattern will come into evaluation. In a 4-class sprint, one entire class I am dedicated to something, and then you are asking that will it be part of our evaluation? Are you kidding? Are you people kidding? Well, everyone, go to the course platform. There is a feedback form available, and you are requested to fill the feedback form, please. Yesterday, number of feedbacks were very less. That's why everybody, it is compulsory. You must fill the feedback form. And once the feedback form is done, then you should write down done on the chat. And after filling the feedback form, writing done on the chat, then you can leave the meeting. Getting my point? I'm providing you time from the class time. I'm providing you time from my lecture time. This is miracle. So please fill this feedback form. You have to submit SQL file in the evaluation, in the assignment, in the project. Wherever there is SQL, you have to submit the SQL file. Please feel free to please submit the feedback form.